What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin today. Hit that like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it. It is Saturday, the 29th of March. Here we are at about $84,335 we have today, and then tomorrow, and then the week is closed. We've got April the 2nd coming up on us here. Let's see. April the 2nd right here. And that is Fairif Wednesday, right? Fairif Wednesday, because it's supposed to be a fair tariff event, setting the floor at a fair level across the whole damn world. But it seems as though it's going to be a little bit dialed back, so it might not be as much of a Fairif event as we thought it would be, or Liberation Day, as some people are. It's an unliberating. I don't know what word to use there, but that day, that's the day, the big tariff day. A lot of people, back here, we're anticipating this to be pretty damn bad. But as we get closer to it, people are starting to say, oh, it's not going to be that bad. Which doesn't make sense to me, because the first two times that we had tariffs announced, right, it was just 3 countries. This is going to be a lot more countries. Even if it's dialed back, it's a lot more going on here. So I can only assume that we're going to drop. This will be negatively received in the short term for the markets and cause a little bit of uncertainty and a shakeup, maybe globally in trade and stuff like that. And then things will level out and it'll be better ultimately. Things will begin to grow. I'm not worried about the bull market. I think we're still intact. But I do believe this day here is the beginning of our final move down, right? I think that we are beginning that now. We're going to go over how long I expect this to happen in just a moment. Or like when we'll be at these lows in just a moment. But we do have something interesting going on here. To me, I was looking at this with my eyes, and it looks like we've broken out of this uptrend. But to be fair, if you draw a trend line here, which I'm sure there are a lot of people who are depending on this trend line to hold up right now. If you're drawing a trend line here, you actually hit that perfectly. Now, what I will say is, if you notice on this trend line, if you notice on this bounce here, both of these times you bounced rather immediately. So, and this time, by the way, bullish engulfing candle. This time, bullish engulfing candle, right? If you don't get a bullish engulfing candle this time, if you find resistance at 86K or 87K, that's nothing to celebrate. That's nothing to celebrate, right? In fact, oftentimes, and we'll go over some examples of this in a second, oftentimes it's not the first attempt or the second attempt that you break through, but it is the third attempt that you do break through these diagonal lines. Diagonal lines don't help, guys. They're not that helpful at all. And if you count on this, if this is your saving grace, you're setting yourself up for failure. Remember, we're at 84K 300 right now, 84.3K right now. If in the next 8 hours, 12 hours, we're up at 86 to 87K and you're celebrating, you're desperate, man. You're absolutely desperate, because all we're doing at that point is we're finding resistance at prior areas of support. And I would bet that we do find resistance there and continue to climb down. Do we have to close red today? No. We could move up. In fact, I'm kind of anticipating that altcoins, the whole damn crypto market, is going to have a bit of a sigh of relief today, because it's going to look like we're bouncing off of this and we're going higher. There's going to be some false hope, and maybe because it's the weekend, we might have an easier time moving up. Maybe. I'm anticipating that. That doesn't mean it has to happen. Let's get away from this. I'm just saying this is not convincing me, and I do believe that we've had moments like this in Bitcoin's history already, right? It was the first attempt that you bounced, the second attempt that you bounced, and then the third attempt. Look at that, right? You're hugging it and you went through, right? Can't be a coincidence. Let's do it again. Let's try it all the way back here. First attempt, big bounce. Second attempt, big bounce. Third attempt, what did you do? You went through. You broke through it, right? That can't be a coincidence either. Let's see. Is there something else? Is there something else that we can do? I don't know. Let's see. Maybe on a descending trend line, right? Right here. Up, down, twice, right? 3 times. If you notice, first attempt, second attempt, and obviously you wouldn't know this trend line exists until your second attempt. Third attempt, you broke through, right? It's oftentimes that third time, and we sold off. Look at that. We sold off on the day. People are probably thinking they're so smart. Oh ho, we're rejecting this area, and then boom, you actually went through. It faked people out. What about here? What do we got going on right here? Maybe something like this. Is this a good one? I don't know. Let me put it all the way out over here so that I'm not getting magnetized. Something like this maybe. First attempt, second attempt, third attempt. Hey, it held. It actually held. Fourth attempt, you broke through. Again, just showing though the commonality is 3 attempts normally. It's not the fourth attempt that normally holds. Is there anything else that we could possibly try this on? I don't know. Maybe here, maybe, but that kind of slopes up more. It's not, I don't know. I don't want to draw it. Let's draw it. Let's just try, and then we'll move on from here, okay? Not really. I mean, yeah, you did go through it on the third attempt, but it's not really the same kind of aspect that we've seen before, right? So anyways, I'm just showing you that if this is your line of hope, this is your moment of desperation, you're pretty desperate, because diagonal lines don't really matter, guys. We're in an area that doesn't necessarily make too much sense to find support at. In fact, where we found resistance is a perfect area to find resistance. If we look at this high here, area of resistance right here at the base of this consolidation phase, literally the actual base, right where we started to consolidate back down here. If we take the relative high to the relative low, that's the golden ratio, the golden zone itself. The white zone is for loading and unloading only, and it was a 1-2 double top. Okay, this is what I like. This is how I like to do analysis right here with the golden ratio. First attempt, you normally find resistance. Second attempt, if you find resistance, you're normally going down. It's that simple, and it's not always that simple. That alone might prove to be true 60% of the time, right? But it's still an edge. In combination with other things, you can definitely up those chances of a more accurate reading to the downside or some kind of fake maneuver, and then on the third attempt you do break through. It's less common, though, whenever you reject 2 times and you go up there 3 times, 4 times, whatever, on those attempts to continue and break through and find your low and continue to grow from there, okay? That's all I'm trying to say. Double top at the golden ratio. We really tried, but we couldn't even close above it. You couldn't, why is it not letting, what the heck, man? There we go. You can't even close above it. Couldn't even close. You closed right at it. Finding resistance now. I have said since we were up here that all we have to do is take out this 382. We don't even actually need to close below it. We just need a price to go below it, because the way that fibs work is you're either constructive or you're not constructive. And this was pretty constructive. It might be more obvious on a 4-hour time frame. From a high to a low, hit your 382, found support at your 236, hit your 0.5, constructive. Found support not at your 236 but above it, still a higher low, constructive. Next resistance, golden ratio, so constructive. Then your 382 found support, constructive. Golden ratio again, but still constructive because it's a higher low. Now if you hit this 382, or even if you go below it, you're taking out this construct. You're taking it out completely, and you're likely going to go lower. And I think that you do. That's very much my impression. If you're not on board with that, that's fine. You don't have to be. At least get on board with this. You're in denial if you're still bullish, and we close. This time, it is a closing price. It's important. We close a price below 80,700 is actually the number. It says 80,500, but I think I put that line just below. You can see if I delete this probably. Let me see. 80,000. Come on now. Oh, it is 80,000. It's because it's on Coinbase. Okay, on the index, it's 700. Let's just say 80,500, whatever. You close the day below 80,500 and you're still bullish, you're in denial at that point. We've broken structure. We've also, by the way, we haven't technically gotten a lower low yet, but we have picked up volume to the downside. It looks like we're going to go down, okay? And I wonder, just on this kind of aspect alone, we still are finding support. It just, to me, it looks like we've already broken out of this range. And this is why I hate diagonal lines, because it's like you can just draw it any way you want. This seems more appropriate, but if you're being technical and you're taking it from the actual low, tagging up all these lows, we're actually right there. But again, on the daily basis, it's more obvious, or it takes longer to form. But on the 4-hour basis, you notice here, immediate bounce. Here, are we getting an immediate bounce? Maybe, maybe not. And if we do, even if we do move back up again, if we move back up to about 86 to 87K, all we're doing there is finding resistance at prior areas of support. I didn't mean to draw it up like that. I wasn't trying to do that. Prior areas of resistance here, right? If I do it right here, prior areas of resistance here, kind of turbulent there, but prior areas of support, we're back testing for resistance. And then I wonder also, if we were to go up to that area, is that the golden ratio, high to low here? Nope, it's not actually. It's actually not. It's the 0.5 area, which Bitcoin has shown some significance on its 0.5 lately, in all honesty. Anyways, getting away from that, let's talk about how long this is going to take. Okay, let's talk about how long this is going to take. So with Bitcoin's drops recently, you can tell from the high, we've had moments where we were boring, right? And then we dropped for a little bit. And then we were kind of boring. And then we dropped for a little bit. And then we were very boring for a while. And then we dropped for a little bit. And then we were wild, real wild. And then we dropped for a little bit, right? How long has it taken for each of these drops to happen? And this isn't necessarily the best judge or the best way to do this, but we're going to do it this way anyways. From that high, this relative high to the low there, that took 3 days, right? 3 days later, you were there. High here to this low here, that was 4 days. High here to this low here, that was 7 days, a week. From this high, I'm not going to take this high, but I am going to take this high, because I think this is the beginning of that move down, really. High to low here, that was 5 days. So within a week from the high, and while this is the high, same kind of concept as here, I'm not going to measure it from there, just like I didn't measure this high, just like I didn't measure this high. I'm going to measure it from where the move kind of began. This here, because I'm measuring the move. I'm not measuring like the actual high to low. I'm just measuring where the move began. Some of these just happen to be at the relative high. Some of them not so much. I'm not cherry picking. I'm being very literally two of them at the high, two of them were not at the high. It's fair is fair. You know what I mean? Three now actually. Within a week, 7 days from now would be Friday, April 4th. Okay, what's happening on April in this week of April, March 31st to April? What would it be? April 6th. We have April 2nd, that Wednesday coming up. Is it possible that we could see this drop happen in 5 days? Well, the majority of these have been 5 days or less, technically. Only one of them was 7 days, in all fairness. And how big can these drops be, right? Well, if we take this, if I delete this one here, and we just take these days here, this 5 day one from that top there, that could take us all the way down to 72.3K, the exact area that we're anticipating by April 2nd. That sounds a bit coincidental, right? Maybe, maybe not. 4 days here, if we take this, it's a little bit smaller, obviously. It's a little bit smaller, but we take it and we put it right there. That would give us a price of about 75K, which I don't think makes a whole lot of sense. I would think we go lower, but still, I agree with the time frame. It could be maybe we do bottom out by Tuesday. Maybe that does happen. And then, of course, this one, actually, I don't have it drawn appropriately. This one is very shallow. This might be the bull's best hope, is that from a high to a low here, you drop down to 79K and you form some kind of higher low. But again, I don't know, man. If you're going below $80,000, 80,500 on a closing basis, you're likely going to continue to go lower. Why do I say that? Because that's just how the fibs work, man. From a high to a low, you're double topping your golden ratio. When you do this kind of stuff and you break below your 236, it's deconstructive. You're going lower. Let's see if we can find an example of that real quick, just so I can show you what I'm talking about. Let's see. Let's find something that would make sense. Okay, yeah, you know what? This whole range would actually make a lot of sense probably. Let's do it. Let's do it here. So from a high to a, come on now, high to a low, right? Oh no, it wouldn't make sense because it's a high to a low. We're not going lower. It had to be from a low to a high. My bad, I had it backwards. Low to a high then. Low to a high it is. It would be this low to that high, right? Low to a high right there. So you hit your golden ratio once. Okay, that's very common. Oftentimes the second time you do go through or you find support. But then you started coming up. Once you closed above the 236, that essentially validated this as a low. Once you closed above this. And it's easy to say in hindsight right now, but you notice how you close above the 236 and you start actually finding support around here. Yes, you wick down a little bit lower, but on a closing basis you close there. That ultimately allowed you to grow higher. I don't know if that's the best example, but that right there is a decent example in my opinion. Let's find another low to high and see if we can do this. Okay, so this one might be a good example here. Low here. I'm going to take this high. I'm not going to take the fake out high. Okay, you wicked above the 236. Was it ready to go? No. Once you closed above the 236, you were ready to go and you continued onwards. That validated this as the low, and there were reasons to validate this low beforehand even, but I'm just saying that's kind of the way that you should consider this, or at least the way that I consider these fibs. And I mean, same thing here, right? From a low to a high, you close above the 236. Even beforehand, you were moving up, but notice how you started moving really fast. Most of this move right here, when you really started to move fast, it was on the day and afterwards that you closed above the 236, right? Because you bounce. Look at that. Double bottom, exactly what we're doing now. Double bottom off the golden ratio, except we found a double top, close above the 236, except you'd close below, and then ascension, or in our kind of case, depression, right? That's all I'm trying to say. I'm not making this up. I've done Fibonacci analysis, technical analysis now for 9 years, guys. This is how it works most of the time. Not always. It's not a guarantee. Nothing is. And if it was, man, please find me somebody who has guarantees. I want to make money without ever losing. That would be awesome. But that's not how it works. It's to give you an edge. And our edge here tells us that if you close below, is that right? I thought it was a different price. Didn't we just? Oh, I brought it down. I brought it down a little bit higher. I'm sorry, a little bit lower. My bad. 80,600, 80,500. We close below that. It's death. We're going to the downside. Now, when I say death, I don't mean Bitcoin's dead. I don't mean the bull market's over. We have a lot more growth to go, but we are likely going lower, you guys. And I'm not celebrating too early. I mean, I'm celebrating as much now as I have over the past few days. I'm not celebrating at all, really. I'm waiting. I'm patiently waiting, as I have been, and as we all should be, right? I'm not celebrating over a 3% drop. We still haven't done technically the first step, which is to get below the 382, and the dagger, the final like nail in the coffin here, is at the 236. Once we do that, I'm still not going to celebrate. Whatever. It's just a walk in the park, man. We're doing this. We're doing exactly what we expected to happen. It's nothing. It's not a big deal. You're going to be right sometimes. You're going to be wrong sometimes. If you get too excited about that, you're going to build an ego over it, and that's not going to set you up for the times. It's not going to set you up well for the times where you are wrong. Accept it that you can be right. Accept that you can be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I hope that we move up, and it's very possible if we look at this here from a low to a high. We're bouncing off the 382. It's very possible we can move up. What do we need to see to validate that we can move up? We have to close above the 236. And in a very simple aspect, actually, it'd be easier to validate this as a low right now than it would be to not validate it as a low. You are so much closer to this 236 here at about 85.7K, 85.8K, whatever that price is there, than you are to this $80,500 area, right? We're even being generous saying 80,500. Technically, it's a little bit above there. You're so much closer to that red line than this red line. If you close above there, we'll start to rethink things. You'll probably go up to 91K. And even then, you're still not absolved of going lower than this low. But it's very possible that you have one more move up. Very possible here you could find support. But again, going back to this diagonal line, I don't, not that diagonal line, my bad. This diagonal line here, I don't see it happening. I think oftentimes that third attempt is the time you break through. Does it mean it has to? No. It would be great. It'd be great if we got a little pop, altcoins got to run, whatever. But at the same time, I'm just ready for it to be over, man. Just drop. Get it done with. Oftentimes, throughout this whole move, since our all-time highs, we've seen it happen in 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, 7 days. Within the next week, we have a big event coming up with Fair Wednesday, okay? We have a big event coming up with Liberation Day, and it's a little bit less big. It's a little bit less bigger than it used to be, but it's still a big deal. And I think until we have that day happen, until the market resolves itself, however it might resolve itself, we're in uncertain times. And my belief, what I'm confident in, is that uncertainty brings downside. Again, if you think that the fear and greed index is the same message that I've been saying for the past week. If you think this tells you what the sentiment is, you're wrong. There are still a lot of people who are bullish and hopeful and clinging on to bullish hope. There's more people who are bearish now today than there were 2 days ago. Absolutely there are. But it's still very 50-50. If you look at this and you think everybody's bearish because the fear and greed index is fearful, that's not how it works. It takes time to build this up. And they're not perfect indicators. No indicator is. It's a good indicator. This indicator is awesome. I think CoinMarketCap, they honestly do a better job than the alternative.me crypto fear and greed index, honestly. But that's not the point. All I'm trying to say is if you think you know something because you just look at this and that's it, you're not. You have to take in other data. You have to look at it yourself and do your own research. Don't just trust things blindly, right? You don't trust a YouTuber blindly. You don't trust something in the YouTube comments blindly. Don't trust one indicator alone blindly. Multiple indicators. You don't have to have a whole arsenal of indicators. Don't confuse yourself. Don't make your brain hurt. But like 2 or 3. 2 or 3. If you have 3 and 2 of them don't agree with one of them, that's gives you a little bit of an edge more so, right? It might not let you get blindsided too much. At any rate, guys, I believe we're going down. It's not completely convincing yet. There is still a chance right now, and it wouldn't surprise me. I wouldn't be like, oh, I had no idea we'd move up to 91K. Maybe we're bullish now. No, it's like, okay, we really still could move up here. We really still could. It's completely possible. Why? Because from a high to a low, you've found 2 points of resistance at your 618. Oftentimes with this, you don't go to your extended areas. You don't validate this as a low. But if you do go through, you do stop in your 786, 886 area. That's your next high. You could go there. You are still showing constructiveness on this overall time frame. Yes, this low caught a lot of people off guard for whatever reason, but it's not deconstructive yet. Until we get below 83,200, until we close below 80,600, 80,500, whatever the price may be. I'm just going to say 80,005. It's not validated yet. But neither is this validated as a low. So we're just waiting. We're waiting. And I think that the time frame makes sense. I really do believe that we've begun this downward sloping move. And as we have in prior times, even bouncing off of these areas, right? Where was it? Where was it? The one time, was it here? Was it this low to high here? I don't remember what it was. All I'm trying to say is, even if we move up today, even if we move up to 86 to 87K, don't get excited that we're moving up any higher. We could move up. We could look like we're about to bullishly engulf this candle, and then as the day closes, come back down. Wait for this day to closes. If you're a bull, if you're a hater, if you're a troll, save your comments for the end of the day. Okay, that way you don't have to delete them again like some people do. Some of you guys are just cowards. You'll write stuff in the comments and then you'll delete it. I won't even have a chance to respond to it because you write it literally as soon as these guys write it at the high, the price drops and then they delete their comments and I don't even have a chance to respond. I like to talk smack. You don't have to hide. It's okay. I've been wrong before and I don't delete my videos. Don't delete your comments. If you're gonna be man enough or woman enough to talk smack online, leave it up. Don't be a coward. Just do it. Whatever. You can be wrong. It's okay. I'm wrong too. But learn from it, right? And if there's anything that I'm teaching you here, I'm teaching you how to be better trolls. Wait for the day to close. That way you don't make an ass out of yourself. Because if we're up here in the next 8 hours and then 8 hours more goes by and we're back down, you're going to be deleting your comments or be irrelevant or maybe just in denial. Don't get too excited. I'm not just talking to the haters there, clearly, right? Same thing to people who are not haters. Same thing to people who are just bullishly excited on that move back up. Don't get too excited. Wait for the day to close. Let's see how it goes. My expectation would be today closes red, tomorrow closes red, the next day closes red until we're done. But even if it doesn't, there's still ways that we can move up and then inevitably move down, right? It's not over until the fat lady sings, and she is singing a beautiful belting tone down at 72 to 71K. That's my prospect. That's my expectation. That's where we're going to go before April 2nd on that day or maybe a couple days afterwards. I've got nothing else for you guys. If you like the video, hit that thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Take care of yourselves. I feel like there was something else I wanted to go over, and I just can't remember what it is. I'm trying to think here. Let me get my mind right. Let me see. What is it? If I say let me get my mind right and then I drink this, it really does look like moonshine, doesn't it? That's by the way, in case you guys didn't know this, I'm pretty sure blue cap means spring water, just so you know. White cap means distilled water or purified water, and then a green cap might mean purified water. I don't know. It's all different. Anyways, or at least that's what someone told me. I don't know if that's true. I just actually blindly believed that. With technicals, I don't do that, but apparently with water, I'm trusting. I can't remember what it was. Make no mistake. Let's just end it with this. Make no mistake. The bull market's not over. We're going to go lower. We're going to find a lower low. That's going to be it. Okay. We're going to have a 1, 2, 3 phased move down. And then when it comes time to recover, we're going all the way up to 175K, guys. $175,000 by the end of June, if not sooner. It's coming. Oh, that's what I wanted to talk about. We're supposed to have crypto. So this is in aspect. Okay, if you guys stuck around, this is just I'm gonna a little story time with C-Zar here for Bitcoin and for crypto. A little story time, a little picture that I'm gonna paint in my head and in your head here. Okay, so there was supposed to be David Sachs and the working group, the crypto regulatory group appointed by Donald Trump and his administration. They were supposed to have something, some regulatory framework, positive, bullish, good regulatory framework coming out for crypto by like mid-April. April 15th was the deadline. They pushed that deadline back. Now it's kind of up in the air a little bit more. At least to my knowledge, it was supposed to be April 15th. I don't know when they pushed that back, but that was, like a couple months ago that I found that out. That's why I was really bullish on March and April to be bullish months. But that got pushed back. I don't know when that got pushed back, whatever. It's getting pushed back now. It's the assumption is sometime between April and June is whenever they're going to come out with this regulatory framework. My assumption is this. Imagine you're on the inside, right? You want to be an insider with insider information so you can get ahead of the trends. That's illegal, but let's just paint ourselves, it still happens. Let's paint ourselves in this picture of insider traders. There's regulatory framework coming out for crypto, for Bitcoin, that's going to be good. It's going to be positive. It's going to help the markets. You've got crypto-friendly, pro-crypto people in charge, and it's probably going to be good for the markets, okay? What do they say? What's that old saying in the space? It's something like, buy the hype, sell the news, right? That's what it is. The news is going to come out likely by the end of June. This news is going to be crypto regulatory framework, a positive path forward for crypto and for Bitcoin, okay? And all alikes, all institutional things and alikes. It's probably going to be really great for crypto, especially in the long term. But buy the hype, sell the news. When the news comes out, that will likely be the next high point that we have in this market cycle. Not the high of the cycle itself, just the next high in the cycle so far. And that's supposed to come out by the end of June. If we pump from April, May into June, and then this regulatory framework comes out, what do you think is happening? There are people on the inside who are aware of what's going on. They're not going to just post this regulatory framework in June or May, and then it was supposed to be in April. So I'm assuming now they're saying April to June. So I'm assuming that's probably going to be June. They're probably pushing it back to June. That's just an assumption. There's probably people on the inside who are very aware that they're not just going to come up with one day or 1 week from the date and just be like, I've got it. Now this is what we're going to do. No, this is stuff that's in the works. It's already been in the works. And it's going to come to light more and more to the insiders, to the people in the know, to the elite, to the people who are ultra high wealth individuals and people who are at the crypto conference at the White House, probably the crypto summit. you're going to get the buy the rumor, sell the news event, but it's an insider thing. That's my assumption. The news is that we're going to have friendly, positive, beneficial crypto regulatory framework. Maybe it involves tax benefits. Maybe it involves all kinds of things. Who knows? It might open up America to using other exchanges around the world. I might actually be able to use KuCoin again. I freaking love KuCoin, by the way. I've got coins locked on KuCoin. I wonder if I still have them. They're probably not worth much. I've actually done the math, but they're not worth nothing, but they're not worth as much as they were. That's for sure. But anyways, like thousands of dollars now worth hundreds of dollars probably. But that was from years ago. So I would just be happy to get anything back if they still have it. But maybe they don't. I don't know. But that might not even happen. All I'm trying to say is there's going to be some bullishly perceived news by the end of this period where the regulatory framework is supposed to be announced from David Sachs and the working group. And I can see the price. If the price is moving up, what that's telling us, right, is that this is good news. This is going to be really good regulatory news that's coming out. And then once that regulatory news comes out, we get the sell the news event. Everybody's going to be like, oh, do you guys see all the laws, all the regulations they put? I can't believe that they're so positive and friendly with crypto. Can you believe it? This is awesome. And drop. That's what happens. That's what happens. So that's what I wanted to talk about. That was a little bit of a 5-minute stint that I just went on. I hope it makes sense. I hope I'm clear, right? I got some energy. I just ate a meatball sub, and man, that thing was good. Good and probably not good for me, but it was still delicious. Anyways, hit the like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Take care of yourselves, and don't worry about it, man. The market drops. It's going to come back. It's not a problem. Just sit on your hands and wait. Go to sleep for a month. You'll be fine. It's not a big deal. Don't degenerate trade. Don't trade like a degenerate. And also, it's never good in a bull market to be completely out. In none of this video am I saying sell. That's not what I'm doing. I haven't sold a single bit of crypto. I'm holding all of it because that's just the way you do it if you want to make money. If you want to make money the easy way, at least. If you want to do it the hard way, go ahead and do it the hard way. But this is not a forgiving environment, so be careful. Anyways, bye-bye. Ta-ta. See you later.